What kind of worms are we going to use for vermicomposting, or composting with worms? The best worm is called a red wiggler, or a red worm, or Isonia fetida. It's a composting worm. It's not your typical earthworm. Our composting worms are litter feeders. They feed in, if this was the ground level, all the litter above that, that's where these composting worms would be feeding. Your earthworms, the typical worm that you find in your garden, they're typically sort of solitary, and they might live in a space like this. But our composting worms, they're gregarious, there's lots of them in an area, and they live and feed in that litter on top of the soil. Now what do they need there? They don't like light, we know that. They bruise through the skin, so they need a nice loose environment to move around in there. They need a kind of a stabilized environment where it's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's not too wet. In a bin, that's what we're trying to set up. Because if we can stabilize that bin, if we can get the right temperature and the right moisture, we're going to be able to get, these worms are going to eat half their weight in material that we put into the bin daily. When we're setting up a worm bin and we're putting bedding in here, how many worms in that material? What we're looking for is basically a pound of worms for 4 cubic feet. This is a 6 cubic foot bin. So basically this bin would need about 1.5 pounds of worms. Or if we were setting up a bed and trying to decide how many square feet that we were looking at for people, typically 2 square feet per person per week would be enough material, enough worms to handle vermicomposting for one person.